Hey, it's Bobby Bones with some exciting news. Open booking is here for the Top Shelf Country Cruise, setting sail February 2026 aboard the luxurious Celebrity Reflection. Spots are filling up fast, so book your stateroom today or sign up to become a lineup insider to receive the final lineup 48 hours prior to the public. Don't miss your chance to make February 2026 unforgettable. Visit TopShelfCountryCruise.com. That's TopShelfCountryCruise.com.
What goals did you set for 2025? If better sleep is one, Symbiotica's magnesium L-threonate helps you wake up refreshed. For gut health, their glutathione supports digestion and reduces bloating. Symbiotica is one of the most transparent brands out there, never compromising on quality or sourcing. Their products are free from seed oils, preservatives, toxins, and artificial additives, something you can taste and feel in every packet. Go to Symbiotica.com and use code iHeart for 20% off and free shipping. That's Symbiotica.com, code iHeart.
Because she's in like I don't know, like a fugue state.
That can't be what the show's about. It can't be. It just can't be.
Well, if it's not, they're just remaking I Love Lucy with Wanda and Vision.
I mean, I would watch that.
We'd all watch that.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Mother.
Oh, what is the smell?
Jesus,
That's not a
dude.
smell.
That's right, gentlemen. In the spirit of tonight's mystery, it appears that someone took a dump in the center of our studio. The question is, who?
It was you.
Yeah, very obviously it was you, Eli.
It's no mystery. How is this a mystery?
Yeah.
It's always...
Or was it clue number one?
Eli, you are literally the only person in the
You really
studio.
are.
Yeah. And the other
you.
clues are you texted me a picture of you 15 minutes ago with the message, "Hey, bestie, taking a shit in the middle of the studio, just letting you know in case you need a hint for my fun mystery." So that's the other incriminating.
Or did I?
You did. You text. I can fucking show it to you.
No, wait. I get it. He's using the shit in the middle of the room as a misdirection to cover up like a super cool murder mystery. I mean, look at all that blood, right? I mean, that has to be what I think I got it figured out.
No, Tom, that's just how Eli
Oh,
shits.
fuck, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, go to the doctor. I'll drive.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts because this is the internet and that's how it works now. I'm Noah and I'll be asking the questions tonight, but I'll need some accomplices. First up, the man who puts the clever in cleaver, Cecil.
Being one of the sharpest people on Citation Needed is like getting the award for most outstanding tumor. It's just not great.
Right, no, they give that one to
Yeah.
the tumor that sticks out the furthest, yeah. Also joining us is the man who puts the blah in the sling blade, Eli.
Are these taters fried in the same oil as animal products?
And last but certainly not least, the man who puts the lush back in French flush cut saw, Tom.
Lush, because I don't shave down there? That's...
Bro, it's a thick.
No, it's because of my drinking.
More than...
Oh, and I don't shave down
All
there.
right.
I prefer verdant.
And quick, before we get to the juicy bits, I want to thank our patrons for making this show possible. They're fucking awesome. If you'd like to learn how to be fucking awesome too, stick around to the end of the show. And with that out of the way, tell us, Eli, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
Well, thanks to patrons Suzanne and Dee, we'll be talking about Lizzie Borden.
All right, Cecil, you read the article. Are you ready to feign a little expertise?
Well, with this level of patronage, the expertise required is partly reading a Wikipedia article. So, yeah, I am. Yeah.
all right. Okay. All right. So where does the story of Lizzie Borden begin?
Let's start by talking about Lizzie's dad.
Oh, Jesus. Are you my fucking therapist? I told you everybody has that dream. That's a normal dream. Everybody has.
Tell us about your dreams, Tom.
Oh.
Lizzie's father was Andrew, and his family was pretty wealthy, but he was not awarded any kind of Head Start fund. He did eventually, after some hardships as a young man, become quite affluent. He made most of his fortune in property development, textile mills and banks after getting his start in furniture making and casket construction. I was going to write in here, interesting, but then I realized that everyone who makes money off of the funeral industry eventually dies.
Okay, I hate to be the Noah. Right. I mean, I really do hate to be the Noah, but everyone who makes money, not just off the funeral industry, they also die.
That's true. So eventually, Lizzie's dad was loaded.
Yeah, dads, am I right?
Dads. And at the time of his death, he was the equivalent of a multimillionaire. But he didn't live like it. His house was not in the most fashionable neighborhood. Most of the rich people built in the hill section of Fall River, Massachusetts. The Borden house was still in a good area, but just not the best.
Is it just me, or is Cecil consciously trying not to piss off a listener who lives in that neighborhood right now?
I guess so. Okay. The house also lacked some accommodations, like indoor plumbing or electricity.
What?
That even the middle class people had as commonplace items in their home. So Andrew was known as a frugal penny pincher type.
And no indoor plumbing, that's not the only thing he was pinching. Jesus.
Well, you know what they say about real estate. Location is everything. But I think they usually say this assuming you already have a toilet.
Yeah, right.
Because otherwise, toilets are the first everything. That's really everything
is.
First.
It really is.
I like how he was only known as a frugal penny pitcher, but when someone asks you if you no longer want to have your house filled with buckets of shit and your answer is to ask the price, you are a frugal penny pincher. They found it. That's a good label.
Andrew was married to Sarah, and they had 3 children, Emma, Alice, and Lizzie. There were 10 years between their youngest and their oldest. Their middle child, Alice, died at 2 years old.
Lucky.
And 5 years later, when Lizzie is 2, her mother dies. Now, Lizzie was close to her older sister, Emma, and Emma was something of a mother figure to young Lizzie.
Really let the weight of the axe do the work for you, Lizzie. There you go. You got it.
By the way, Cecil, I love you included the dead middle sister that doesn't play into the story at all, in case this story wasn't sad enough later.
Thank you, pat it on both ends with the sadness. All right. When Lizzie is 5, her dad remarries a woman named Abby Gray. Abby was 30 at the time and came from a family that was not doing as well as the Bordens. It is suspected that Abby married Andrew for the money. Lizzie and her new stepmom were not on the best terms, and young Lizzie referred to her stepmother as Ms. Borden.
Okay, sure. That doesn't sound very warm, but this was like the late 1800s. Children were basically like small meat tokens that you feed into industrial machines at this point. So it's true. God, I was born in the wrong era.
Oh, gosh.
So many meat tokens.
Now, during her young life, Lizzie is very jealous of her rich relatives. They are living the life, which at the time was running a bath from a tap instead of heating the water on a stove. Lizzie actually starts shoplifting in her early years, and it becomes such a normal occurrence that the local store warns the workers just to let her go and bill her dad later. Conversely, Lizzie is also a churchgoer throughout her life. She eventually winds up teaching Sunday school.
All right, I know she's bitching about not being like running water rich, but like she is steal stuff and bill me for it later rich. So she's doing okay.
Yeah, she is.
And I'm just over here trying to figure out how indoctrinating kids with the Christian religion is converse to being a thief. But
Lizzie also gets into it with her stepmom over money too. At one point, her father up and gives his wife a house.
Wait, like a different house than the one he already was living in?
It is. He owns several properties, none of them with toilets. The wife then lets her sisters stay there. The 2 kids, Lizzie and Emma, confront the father about it. Realizing that the best thing you can do in that situation is buy your way out of trouble, Andrew basically gives his kids a property for $1. Then they sell the property back to the dad for $5,000. And I know what you're probably thinking here. Why not just move out and go into the new digs?
Oh, actually, I was thinking, why not just give the kids $5,000? Why this charade of real estate transactions?
I suspect it's probably for Texas. Anyway, why not just move out to the new digs? Well, it's 1892, and women didn't live alone until their parents died back then.
But they were allowed to turnover real estate investment with the monopoly money their dad gave them? I'm confused.
I mean, look, they made some money on that, and that was nice. But the real fortune came when they sold the "How I Made 500,000% Profit Selling Real Estate" course. That's where the real bucks were.
Before we get into the gruesome deaths of Pa Borden and his lovely bride, I just want to talk about some dead birds.
Everything okay at home, Cecil?
Okay.
Blink twice.
In May of 1892, before the whole property takes these backsies thing, her dad killed a bunch of pigeons in the barn with a hatchet. And I guess pigeons back then were flightless and legless, or this guy was just fucking money with a small axe. I don't know, it's one or the other. In any case, Lizzie had just recently built a roost for pigeons. And this is one of those
in my mind, he's just throwing them like John Wick, just throwing little axes this way and that,
I don't know how you kill a fucking pigeon with, I don't know how you kill one pigeon, not a mass of pigeons.
You can take out a bunch of them with one swing, they all line up on a string for you.
He just shows up to one of those fucking stupid axe throwing places that are popping up everywhere. He's like, I got this. You guys won't believe this shit.
Oh, Jesus. It's unbelievable. Anyway, he murders a bunch of pigeons, but Lizzie had just recently built a roost for pigeons. And this is one of those pesky disputed facts of the case, so it might not be real. I suspect that if it did happen, they probably got into a squabble over it. Squab crushed it. It's a pigeon. Anyway, I just love the visual.
No, I get it. Anna and I had the same fight when she joined Habitat for Humanity. So, yeah, they can be really whiny about it.
So it's a couple of days before the murder. Lizzie at this point is a 32-year-old spinster and still living in her family home. They have a modified 2-flat where Lizzie lives upstairs in the front of the house and Dad and his wife live in the upstairs of the back of the house. They don't take meals together because Lizzie and her stepmom, Abby, kind of hate each other. So the whole house is always on a brink of a shriek match.
Well, you tell Lizzie I am not speaking to her.
Well, you tell Abby she's a fat cow.
Well, you tell Lizzie that no one wants her and she'll die alone.
You first.
Wait, what?
Nothing. You tell Abby nothing.
So everyone in the house gets mysteriously ill.
Okay, or in 1800s terms, ill.
Yeah, that's true too.
Don't know how that works.
Yeah. The stepmom immediately thinks that the household was poisoned, as her husband wasn't the most likable dude, but other people suspect food poisoning from the lamb that they left on the stove and ate over a period of days.
Oh, yummers.
But it's some good stove lamb, Paul.
So
later lamb.
God, it's so foul. Oh, Jesus. But anyway, it's bad enough for the stepmom, and she calls the doctor from across the street, and he comes over and he does nothing because it's the wrong moon sign or whatever doctors did back then.
Yeah, but like doing nothing is actually the safest thing at this point in history for a doctor to do.
It's true.
Yeah, he comes over, he's like, lady, you got a case of it's 1892. Your fucking legs work. You should be happy about it.
Well, sick or not sick, you still have to entertain your relatives when they come by on a Wednesday night. So when John Morse, Lizzie's blood uncle, comes by, the Bordens just put him up for the night. Everyone gets up Thursday morning, August 4th, 1892, and has breakfast. Well, not everyone. Lizzie doesn't go down for breakfast because she hates her stepmother. So then the uncle leaves to go buy a pair of oxen. This is awesome. The Wikipedia says this happened around the oddly specific time of 8:48 a.m.
Oh,
and
wow.
then Andrew leaves for work at 9 a.m.
All right, honey, I love you. Don't get murdered. I know, I always say that, but double extra, don't get murdered today. Okay, bye.
So that leaves Abby, Lizzie, and the maid, Maggie Sullivan.
I'm having so much trouble reconciling the maid with no running water.
Right?
Well, she runs to go get the water. It's running water. It's fine.
Abby sends the maid out to wash the windows and then goes upstairs to make the guest bed. Abby, according to forensics, was looking at whoever killed her, and the first blow with the weapon was enough to do just that. The hatchet hit her in the side of the head by the ear, and then she fell, and the killer hit her with the axe like a random prime number of times, 17. I don't know why.
So, like, when I'm eventually axe murdered, as I'm sure I will be, I hope it's doing something awesome and not doing chores the maid should have been doing.
Yeah. Also,
Why are you making the bed? You have a maid. I'm hung up on the wrong piece.
He married her because she's maid version 2.0, though. I mean, that's what a housewife did. At 10:30, Andrew comes back from his bank job and he finds the house is locked.
that's 10:30 a.m. By the way, he left for work at 9.
I know.
He's good work if you can get it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So he starts going
With commute time.
Yeah, right. Yeah, on a horse, no less. You know.
He's the bank checker. He just shows up. Yep, still a bank. All right, everybody.
I guess.
Or he was a doctor for families who'd just been poisoned.
So he starts going to each door outside and it's latched from the inside, so he can't get in. And the maid goes over and unlocks the door. And she hears Lizzie laughing from the upstairs. And this would be odd because the stepmother's body at this point is in full view of anyone upstairs. The maid is super tired after letting in the dad in and washing the windows for an hour and a half. So she goes upstairs to take a nap.
Well, she's got a great job too, man. 1892 was the shit.
The maid like goes upstairs, sees the body. She's like, deal with that shit after a snooze. This bitch is off the clock.
I'm taking my 15, though. I'm still taking my 15.
I do want to point out that the maid's quarters were away from the body, so she had no opportunity to see the body. I did want to say that. So, like, weirdly, their house had two stairways that went upstairs. There's a bedroom for Lizzie in the front, the dad and the bride are in back, and there's a door that connects the two, but it's nailed shut. Wait, what? So, yeah, it's really crazy. This is like a fucking house of horrors. And then the guest bedroom was in the front by Lizzie, so that's where she went up. You couldn't actually get to the back of the house, so I did want to say that she didn't just walk up, see the dead body, and be like, fuck it, I'm passing out, bitches. She didn't see the dead body.
I'm all tuckered.
Yeah. Fuck it, I don't care. Washing windows is hard. Now, Lizzie's version of the events is a bit different. She greeted her dad in the sitting room and told him that her stepmom, Abby, was off visiting a sick friend. And she took her dad's boots off and he laid down for a nap at 10:30 a.m. Hatchet in that for later. Anyway, she then says she went out to the barn to look for sinkers for a fishing trip she was planning.
Okay, is there anyone else here hung up on just like the weird image of Lizzie popping off dad's boots and then putting him to bed? Was he a toddler? Was her dad a toddler?
He was, because he only worked for an hour and a half. Right? He needed naps.
Oh, nappy nap.
Yeah, who the fuck else takes a nap at 10:30? Yeah.
He had a hard
Who can't
day
take
at
off
work.
their own shoes.
He did. He walked all the way to the bank and then back again. Maggie wakes up to Lizzie screaming, and this is a quote. "Maggie, come quick. Father's dead. Someone came in and killed him," end quote. She runs downstairs. Maggie runs downstairs and sees that Dad, with his boots still on, sort of half sitting, half lying, all dead on the couch. He was hit in the face and it cut his eye in half.
Oh, yeah.
And then that just killed him instantly. And then he was hit 9 or 10 more times with a quote from the Wikipedia article, hatchet-like weapon, end quote.
So, a hatchet. Are there hatchet-like weapons that aren't hatchets? Wikipedia.
like a tomahawk, I guess. I don't know.
Wait, I'm pretty sure we can tell which version of this story is true based on whether the corpse had boots on or not. Like, that seems like such a weird detail to hang your lie on. But
I know, right? The police were called and they showed up promptly. They determined that the murder upstairs happened between 9:30 and 10 a.m. from the blood congealing.
Okay, yeah, I'm not going to go ahead and put a lot of stock here in the forensic science from a time period when like doctor and barber are the same word.
I know.
So, no.
Yeah. And then they had about a 20-minute window for Andrew's murder, so between 10:50 and 11:10, because when they arrived, he was actually still bleeding. So they round up some suspects. The first suspects of the day did not include Lizzie, but that would soon change.
all right, well, all the dead already happened, so what could possibly be interesting enough to carry the last half of this episode? Find out the answer on the other side of Apropos of Nothing.
I think that's presumptuous that you thought I carried the first half.
Crazy story, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Wait till you hear about the trial, man.
So do you think she did it?
Lizzie?
Yeah, Lizzie.
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. There's conflicting evidence. Maybe she did it. She had a lot to gain from it, but it's really hard to just sort of look at this.
But she said she didn't do it, Cecil.
Right. But most murderers say that they didn't do it. So
Oh, yeah. So you're saying you don't believe women. Okay, I got it.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying maybe she didn't do it too. I don't.
So you're saying that a woman is too weak to do it then? Like she's some kind of delicate flower and she wouldn't be capable of it?
No. I mean, maybe she did do it, but it's pretty tough for a woman to.
Are you going to try to mansplain what a woman is capable of to us, Cecil?
I'm not going to make any assumptions about it. All I know is that they were killed by some kind of deranged murderer who really hated these people. That is for sure.
Oh, I see. So whoever did it was probably super emotional, like women get. I see where we're going.
Okay, I am just done talking about this.
Yes, well, you should be.
So, Lizzie, how was your day?
Oh, it was awesome. Let me think. I sat around this house doing nothing all day. Oh, and then I sat around doing nothing some more.
Well, that does sound rather relaxing.
Oh, yeah. Everybody loves to be in a literal prison of hate. Fucking Sandals, Jamaica, right up here in Massachusetts.
Well, why don't you try some sewing?
Oh, fuck yes, sewing. I forgot all about the joys and fun of sewing, because I already sewed all the sewing, asshole. I have literally done all the menial tasks available to me.
Abby?
Hello, darling.
Lizzie here. I think she's looking for something to sew, probably.
Maybe if you did something with your life instead of sitting around like the brick of shit you are.
Fuck you. I'm going to kill you with a hatchet-like weapon.
Well, do you mean a hatchet, then?
Yes. And we're back. When we last left off, all the characters in the story but one were dead, and I feel like Cecil's going for a whodunit from here on out, so this should be interesting.
Not really. So the first suspects were the maid Maggie Sullivan, the uncle John Morris, and some rando. But after questioning Lizzie, they added her too. Lizzie offered a story that was not consistent. When they first questioned her, she said that she either heard a groan or a scraping noise or a distress call when she came into the house.
Yeah, right. No, it was one of the sounds that Eli makes when he takes a shit. I just don't remember which. It was a groan or a scraping noise or a distress call. It was one of those things.
She didn't hear her weeping. That's weird. But
sounds
later,
like a loon. It sounds like a loon. Anyone else hear a loon?
Eli's one of those things you pull the string and he shits and then it makes the sound. It's crazy.
Yep. Or those chickens. There's rubber chickens.
But later that day, she said she didn't hear anything at all. She said that she took her dad's boots off, but he died with his boots on. The police also didn't like her demeanor. She was calm, even-toned, and didn't faint when she saw the body. They also failed to check her for bloodstains or really look around Lizzie's room for any clues.
It's just like, all right, we're the police before fingerprints or forensics, so, did you do it?
Maybe.
All right, you're free to go. I'm telling you, Johnson, we're never going to solve this one. This is a fucking myth. This is a real head scratcher here.
Oh, shit. The police find a fucking arsenal of hatchets and axes in the basement. Like, proper level of axes here. 2 hatchets, 2 axes, a hatchet hat, and a broken handle. One of these, the broken hatchet, looked like the murder weapon. The break was fresh, and it was sprinkled with ash to make it look like it was dusty and it hadn't been used in a long time.
Yeah, that's the one advantage the pre-fingerprints and DNA cops had, was the fact that criminals have always been, nobody will guess the ash was applied afterwards levels of stupid.
3 people spent the night at the Borden murder house the day of the killings. John Morse stayed in the attic guest room, not the guest room he stayed in the previous night. Lizzie's friend Alice stayed with Lizzie as well. An officer was placed outside the residence that night and said, quote, he had seen Borden enter the cellar with Alice carrying a kerosene lamp and a slop pail. He stated he saw both women exit the cellar, after which Borden returned alone. Though he was unable to see what she was doing, he stated that it appeared she was bent over a sink, end quote.
Yeah, and his superior's like, well, why didn't you stop her? See what she was doing?
Because I was placed on watch, wasn't placed on do. Thank you.
The next morning, Alice came into the Borden kitchen, and Lizzie was there tearing up a dress. When Alice asked what she's doing, Lizzie replied that the dress had paint on it, and she was going to burn it, which seems like a perfectly non-murdery way to dispose of a dress.
What? I can see why this is a mystery that's caught the imagination of so many for so long. It's like, ow.
Yeah, right.
What was going on there?
It's fucking 2020. If I get paint on my own clothes, I don't go outside and shred and burn them, and I can just buy new clothes. Like, I just use them next time I paint. In 18 whatever the fuck, when you don't have flushing toilets? I'm not saying she's 100% guilty. I'm saying she's fucking 100% guilty.
Okay. Lizzie at this point is the prime suspect and is summoned to an inquest 4 days after the murders. They dose her up with some morphine to calm her down and refuse her the chance to have an attorney present.
Because fuck that noise.
Yeah, right? Yeah. They start asking her questions, and she can't get anything straight in the inquest. She tells 3 different versions of what happened that day when Dad came home, and she's constantly contradicting herself. 3 days later, she is served with a warrant and jailed. A grand jury hears the evidence in early November, and she's indicted on December 2nd, 1892.
Well, that's it. We tried getting her irredeemably high on morphine, and she's still not making any sense.
Yeah.
Guess we're never get a straight answer out of this one.
Meanwhile, cut to the kid from Making a Murderer. He's going like, what? She got morphine? This is not fucking fair.
Trial takes place in June, and it's fucking weird, but we will get to that. Borden spares no expense in the defense attorneys. There's a team of 3, and the most notable was George D. Robinson. He happened to be the previous governor of Massachusetts, and he appointed the judge hearing this trial.
Oh, wow.
Mostly, the trial is described as a bunch of circumstantial evidence and several eyewitnesses and no real thread of what actually occurred. Some people placed Lizzie in the house. Others placed her outside during the time of the murders. Physical evidence was also not consistent. One police officer said that the hatchet handle was in the house. The other said it wasn't. One thing that was never disputed was the burning and tearing of the dress. That was mentioned by the prosecution and her friend while on the stand, but the defense never challenged that.
You know, just for giggles, I really fucking hope she didn't do it and just picked an unlucky day to Marie Kondo her wardrobe.
Did not spark joy, that's for sure.
Well, but to be clear here, like, where was the axe handle we found before we knew it was part of the murder weapon? And was your dad dead or not when you took his boots off? Are different levels of inconsistency, okay? Yes, everyone had wrong answers, but some of them were wronger.
Okay, this is where it gets fucking bizarre. They removed the heads of the deceased and boiled them to get all the skin off, and then brought in the skulls into court as evidence during the trial.
Oh my God. And Eli said he came up with that idea himself for the Jean Benet live shows on this fucking liar.
The police that were upset that Borden didn't faint when she saw the bodies were probably overjoyed because she looked to faint when the prosecution appeared for Act 5 of Hamlet or whatever with her dad's skull.
Right? Yeah.
Right? Yeah. They took the supposed hatchet head and then they tried to match it up with the skull damage in front of everybody.
Because if you didn't fit, you had to acquit?
Exactly, right? That's what I was thinking.
One of the judge to be just like, okay, so you boiled the skin off of 2 dead people to prove this kind of looks like a hatchet wound, right? Just want to make sure. Yep. Okay. That was your.
Can I put you in jail? Can I, at the end of this, can we throw your ass in jail?
I just want to read it, the next bit right from Wikipedia, because it is fucking so 1890s. Quote, evidence was excluded that Borden had sought to purchase prussic acid, purportedly for cleaning a sealskin cloak. She tried to get it from a druggist on the day before the murders. A judge ruled that the incident was too remote in time to have any connection, end quote. And just noting, what? I just got a note here. Prussic acid is a highly poisonous substance. It's the main ingredient in Zyklon B.
Okay. The day before the murders? That's too remote in time. What timeline would have accepted? Was he supposed to DoorDash the fucking shit to her house?
Also, what the fuck was on her cloak? Lime deposits?
That's my spelunking code.
This trial was also all over the newspapers. People wanted to read about the high society girl that hatcheted a brilliant plan to kill her parents.
Okay, for the record, the brilliant plan was to hit them with a hatchet until they died.
Right. Yeah. It was okay. It was 1892 brilliant. All right.
Okay, but a lot of boots had to be considered. It was a thing.
Yeah, but and also for the record, by the way, high society didn't necessarily imply flushable toilet back then.
That's true. That is true.
It's
Not a
related
brilliant
to the
plan,
brilliant
not high
thing,
society. Okay, all right, fair. All right, we're taking that whole line down. Got it. All right. The papers were also full of rampant speculation and conjecture, and they wouldn't stop after her acquittal, which took an hour and a half of deliberation, by the way.
Wow.
The papers talked about it for years after, and there was always an anniversary story. Lizzie was ostracized from society, too. The week after her father died, was murdered, she went to the church, and every row of pews around her was empty. She bought a new house, called it Maplecroft, started calling herself Lizbeth of Maplecroft, but it didn't help. She was an outcast until she died in 1927.
Yeah, it's really too bad because if this had happened today, she at least would have gotten a Netflix special that suggested an owl maybe did it.
An owl did do it. At least a podcast. At least a podcast.
Now, since then, the crime people have been speculating about who committed the murders, and it wouldn't be an episode of Citation Needed if we didn't wildly speculate, and Heath didn't say interesting. Here are some of these theories. An author suggested that Borden may have killed her parents in a fugue state.
Okay, so that one is where she doesn't.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Another suggested that Borden killed her dad because of years of sexual abuse.
Still her, killing. Though.
Yeah,
She doesn't want to kill him
she did
in
that,
one circumstance.
Lizzie was caught in a compromising position with the maid and killed the two because of that.
Not exonerating Lizzie with these theories.
No.
She kills in that one too.
Not so far. This next one.
Yeah.
John Morse killed them both. He was not someone the family was close to. He was the brother to Andrew's dead wife, and he had an absurdly perfect and over-detailed alibi for the death of Abby Borden, which included the identification numbers of the trolleys he rode on to buy oxen.
Hey, you guys want to know the license plates of the cars I saw when I was definitely not murdering?
No.
Cool.
Okay, all right. Well, that sounds bad, but come on, you have definitely spent the night with relatives and then thought to yourself afterwards, holy shit, I better nail down my alibi tomorrow in case these motherfuckers kill each other, right?
Yeah, that's fair. That is
You're taking
fair.
selfies everywhere. Yeah. There's another where the maid killed them because she was super pissed that on such a hot day she had to go outside and wash windows.
She comes again. I told you, motherfuckers, I don't do windows.
I need a nap, bitches. All right. Another author claimed that Lizzie's sister, Emma, who was in another city at a house party, came back to the house and killed her parents, only to go back to that house party and wait for word that it happened.
Emma, you were in the bathroom for like an hour just now.
Oh, yes, just dropping a deuce, like you do.
But you weren't covered in blood like that when you went in.
I had old Chipotle.
Oh, I see. Ye old Chipotle.
Stove Chipotle. It's been up there.
Yeah, it's been on 3 weeks, 3 days it's been on the stove. The maid, after everything was over, left the family and started working for another. She eventually married a man while working as a maid and moved to Montana. Supposedly on her deathbed, she confessed to her sister, quote, that she had changed her testimony on the stand in order to protect Borden, end quote.
What in the world would she protect Borden for? Does she need a reference or something? The stakes are very high right here.
Yeah. No one was ever convicted of the murders.
Meaning it's a complete mystery, just like Nicole Simpson and who actually did extort Ukraine to manufacture dirt on Biden. You'll never know.
Never know. Right before the trial started, there was a copycat murder that took place but the person they convicted of the crime was not in Fall River at the time of the Borden murders. It's impossible to know who was the killer, but many people suspect Lizzie.
Yeah.
The investigation and the trial seem like an absolute cock-up, and who knows what would have happened if forensic science at the time was more sophisticated than a large magnifying glass and a divining rod. Lizzie still lives on in a fucking scary goddamn nursery rhyme, which I'm going to read for you. Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. Andrew Borden now is dead. Lizzie hit him on the head. Up in heaven he will sing. On the gallows she will swing.
God damn, that nursery rhyme is fucked up. You don't want kids to think they have that kind of power.
Yeah,
That's not acceptable.
no
Exactly.
shit.
Yeah.
But like, honestly, it's only more fucked up than Peter Pumpkin Eater in its specificity, I think.
That is true. Yeah.
I guess.
All right, so Cecil, if you had to summarize what you've learned in what sentence, what would it be?
It's probably a murder-suicide, I'm thinking. That's murder-suicide. Yeah.
Hashtag Lizzie didn't do it.
All right, and are you ready for the quiz?
Ask me anything you like.
Oh, there's the shit tits right there at the end.
All right.
Got it.
Cecil, clearly Lizzie Borden did not get a fair shake in the media. Why not? A, the news story was a hatchet job. B, the editor had an axe to grind.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
C, I can only think of two puns. D, I miss Heath. I really miss.
Well, it's definitely not D.
No one misses Heath.
Let's
I'm
go with
confident of that.
let's go with C. You could only think of 2 puns. I tried really hard to get a third one in there. I'm sure that's correct. Go on, Eli.
Yeah, whatever.
All right. This story is obviously begging for a podcast/Netflix documentary. What should we call it? A, my least favorite mother. B, the Minx. C, Killer Spinside. Or D, Serial Season 4.
That's just rude. Serial season 4. Answer D. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, so in addition to the nursery rhyme, this story has also been commemorated in a number of popular songs. Which is the most beloved? And by the way, you guys, you will legitimately miss Heath by the end of this. Which is the most beloved? A, Don't Ask Me No Questions by Leonard Skinner.
Phenomenal.
I already miss him.
B, Give 'Em What They Axin' For by Rustic Crimes.
Like it.
C, Anything You Ask For by Thomas A. Hawke. D, thank you, If You Had to Axe
That
by
is a good one. Yeah.
Red Hat Chili Peppers.
Phenomenal.
Hatchet,
Yes.
like hatchety.
It's not. I think it's secret answer E. Anything by Axl Rose.
Oh, I'm sorry. The secret answer was
or Slash. They're both in the same band. They're in the same band. Slash or Axl Rose. It doesn't matter.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was close to the correct answer was secret answer F. Tom actually does miss Heath. But I think it's clear after hearing what happened when we tried to do puns that the real winner here is Heath. So we're going to let him pick the essayist next time we talk to him.
Not it.
Not it.
Not it.
I guess it's me then. Okay. Well, for Cecil, Eli, Tom, and usually Heath, I'm Noah thanking you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week, and by then I'll be an expert on something else. Between now and then, you can hear more from Tom and Cecil on cognitive dissonance and more from Eli and myself on the Scathing Atheist, God-Awful Movies, and the Skeptocrat. And if you'd like to help keep this show going, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. And if you want to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes. Be sure to check out citationpod.com.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/get started. That's GREENLIGHT.com/get started.